audio is clear and visual is live. I can see myself there. So what I'm doing today is I'm doing a LinkedIn audio event in the series of BIMly, which is our weekly Q&A for BIM. And this all comes under umbrella of Beyond BIM, which is powered by Arcline. So the main purpose of this is to spread knowledge and awareness about BIM and answers questions of newcomers or even veterans professional in AEC industry who have questions regarding BIM. So I would myself and later down the line we might join some other members as well to answer these questions and then build a stronger community. So it's time to go live. All right, I'm live. Okay, so let's see people joins here. See, Shashi is here. Hello, hello. Mr. Hamza is here. Wow, surprisingly. Good morning, Hamza. I know you can't talk because it's an event that I hosted on. So let's see. We have Harshika joined in. Okay. All right, let's wait for a couple more people to jump on. And this is just an initiative that I did. I'm not sure how it will roll out and how it go. But the idea is that I'm here to answer some of the Q&As on BIM related topics. And if people have questions that they want to ask, I want to start this as a community on BIM. The name BIMly is basically comes from weekly BIM, right? So my agenda is to go on weekly live every Thursday and then answers questions that people have regarding BIM. So let's see if people jump on. I think the timing is a little bit odd, so there might be an issue on that. So we might have to circle back on and see what timing suits a lot of people. Right now it's 9 p.m. in India. So I believe that might be one of the challenge is that this time might not be a suitable time. We might have to keep it on some other time. But I'm going to give a couple more minutes and see if people jump on. We have received some questions previously. I think my team reached out to the people who have joined and they shared some questions. So I can share knowledge, my knowledge on those questions, and then if you guys in the audience have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I think I would prioritize the people who are here in the audience first to answer your question, and then answer some of the questions which are given outside. So let's see where we are. And I think in order to ask the question, you have to raise your hand so I can invite you to speak. I think that's how it works on LinkedIn audio. So if you raise your hand, then I can invite you and then you can start talking. Okay, let's see where the questions are. Okay, I have questions from Ripan, Shiva, Anurag, and Sagar. I don't see any of them are here. Oh, Hamza is. Yeah, Hamza, feel free. I would love to get you on the stage. I am letting you. Hey, good morning, Hamza.
Good morning. Thank you so much for for doing
No,
this.
it's
I got the notification from LinkedIn that you're
oh.
starting a live session, so I'm like I need to see this.
No, this is
Right.
perfect, man. I was not anticipating at all that you would jump on, but thank you so much for joining. This is just a small initiative that I feel that required from everyone who have reached to a stage where they can answer questions. So it's something that I'm contributing back to the community, our BIM community.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good job doing that. And I mean, Annie is an expert in the topic, so I would not expect any less.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Hamza. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we would. I'm also starting like a webinar series as well this month as well. So I would love to kind of have you join on those. Some of those, like down the line, we might pick some topic up and then invite you on some of those webinar.
Absolutely. Hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to participate.
Definitely, definitely. That's amazing. All right, so we got 7 people here. If any of you have any question related to BIM, please throw out, and I would be happy to answer. We have Hamza as well, who is director of innovation at Haskell, and he has a very well background in BIM. He's actually my teacher when I was studying in University of Florida. He taught me BIM, and that's where the whole journey started from. So I really appreciate, Hamza, that we're still connected, and then we're still able to drive this together and moving forward. So I really appreciate that. Anybody have any questions? People who are listening, please raise your hand. Feel free, and we would love to answer those questions. If not, then I'll jump on to the question that I've received so far. So I think there was a question from Shiva Ramakrishnan. He's a student, and he asked that how will be the future working with BIM and how to find job for fresher. It's a very interesting question. I think it get many time people ask, especially the young comers who are getting out in the industry. They ask this question many a time that is BIM is still relevant or there's a future in BIM, and then how do we find right jobs in this industry, right? So with my own experience, I can talk about what I have gone through and what I'm seeing now is that definitely BIM has a huge potential. It has been like when I joined my first job in Baker, that was like in 2013, like almost 10 years ago. BIM was still out and coming. It was still growing, but now it have reached to the stage where it's maturing enough that people are demanding, companies are demanding it. So definitely the jobs for BIM will in future will keep on increasing, and opportunities within BIM will definitely keep on rising. So whoever is going into AC industry and wants to pursue technology side or innovation side of construction, I highly recommend them that you should not just go for a chosen route that will just go for whatever project engineer, project management. Nothing against them, but if you have passion for technology, then definitely you should pursue career in it. I've made my own career in this, and I'm very happy and satisfied that I've chosen BIM in this AEC industry because there are many different paths. And Hamza, I would request you as well to throw some light. I know you have more experience than me in this side, but if you would love to kind of talk a little bit on where the scope of BIM is going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I concur with everything that Annie said. It's becoming like a kind of cornerstone of every project, right? It's like, where's the BIM model? How does it work? But what I'm seeing in the future, yes, you need to understand how BIM functions on a foundational level, right? And how does it work? Because its important comes from it being foundational to all the other technologies that we are trying to implement. So if you don't have the model, there's a lot of tech out there that you can't really use or utilize or actually, implement in your projects to kind of increase in efficiencies.
Yeah.
So it's extremely important. But then I would also add to that, Annie, is some sort of just a little bit of background on coding and programming in general. That would help you a long way because now you can actually get into the system and unlock other features that are not, you know, readily available for your typical user.
Yeah. That's definitely true. I think we are at that age where all these programs are becoming quite open source, you know, so that you can start tweaking them and start making your own ways in it. Um, but the second half of this question was how to find jobs in BIM industry. And to answer that question, I think you really have to have that drive to pursue a career in BIM because honestly, like it depends from country to country as well. Like, and I've experienced in both in US as well as in India. I think some of the crowd here are from India as well. So I've experienced both hands that where the job ratios are. In talking in terms of US, I think the job for BIM has increased quite a bit since I've joined 10 years ago. Now you have different position. When I joined, there was no position open. Like with my company, when I joined, they asked me to define my own title in BIM, which was very funny because they didn't know what other titles were there, you know. So I gave myself BIM specialist, but now you have whole roles and description. Every company has a book that they have written descriptions and roles, but you really have to have that drive to go into this direction because at the beginning if a company has a well-known BIM department, then you won't have much trouble because they have already laid the foundation and you can easily ride that ladder within that company. But if you are joining a company who starting in BIM and you're the first one or you're the initiator, then you have to have a lot of patience. You have to make the whole company understand the value of BIM and kind of drive from there. So getting job, I feel like, is much easier now in BIM because companies are demanding it. In talking in terms of India, I think there is a lot of company who are doing outsourcing work, including myself. Like I have a company called Arcline, so we do a lot of outsourcing work, and that demand has also increased quite a bit. So getting job in BIM is also easy in India, but the qualification in India is sometime what we worried about because we're conducting a lot of interviews and we see that candidates just not well skilled or equipped or in terms of BIM and what their experience says. A lot of time they would say we have 5 years of experience, but when we really question them on the technical side of BIM, then we find out that they don't even have 1 year or 2 years of experience using this technology. So make sure that you are well equipped with the skills and the tools, and then you go for this, apply for the jobs. If not, then start for a fresher jobs. You know, you can apply for a fresher job in BIM, and then a lot of company will be able to get you and then start training you in that direction. So we have a couple hand raising in the audience, so I would go from there and invite these guys to be on stage and talk about. I think we have Yagvendra, someone allow Yagvendra on the stage. Actually, Yagvendra and me studied our civil engineering together in Ujjain. Hey Yagvendra, how are you? If you unmute yourself, Yagvendra, I think you can speak.
Hi, Annie. Yes, actually.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, after a long time I heard you.
Yes, man. It's been a long time. Thank you for joining. You know, and I know that you've been following through the whole journey, and you're quite interested in BIM and the direction we're going forward. But I'm really excited and happy to see you here. You know, this is amazing to have.
Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, in India also we have a lot of scope. So I joined in 2014 Arcadis. So initially we have a very less modular, but now it's so much demand for BIM. So
that's great. Yeah. So
yeah.
like from your own experience, you can see that the demand has increased, right?
Yeah. Mostly for UK projects, there is lots of demand actually.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
So
Like
if
a
you
lot
have
of outsourcing company are requesting, you know, to hire BIM engineers and BIM professionals because I think in India itself the projects yet to be to that level where BIM can be fully utilized. So we do have companies who are using BIM in India as well, but I think the majority of the demand goes to the Western countries. You know, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for throwing light on that, Yagvendra. And thank you for
Okay,
joining.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, anybody else in the audience have questions? Feel free to raise your hands, and then I would love to get you guys on stage and get you talking. So, feel free. Any questions you have? Okay, we have a questions coming from Swati. I'm going to allow you, Swati, to speak. You can unmute and talk. And guys, we have like a great guy sitting with us, Hamza, and he is like the master. I'm telling, like he taught me BIM. So if you have bigger questions, feel free to throw. This guy has a worth of knowledge. You know, I got lucky that he's joined this call. Yeah, Swati, go ahead.
Hi, this is Swati. I'm a regional manager here for AIDS, and which is located in US. It's really amazing, Anirudh. I've been following you since the beginning, and I've been, you know, following your whole journey. And
Awesome.
congratulations on your
Thank you.
company and everything. So it's amazing. I think I think we almost started same time, or maybe you're a little ahead, of course. But
Okay.
so I just wanted to hear a little more about your entrepreneurial journey and when did you decide, and how did that come from, and just a little bit more of your entrepreneurial journey.
Definitely. I think that's a great question. You know, I think a lot of people would be aspiring to hear the story. I was not anticipating, but I would love to share that. You know, we would want to keep it more BIM related, but I think this is also a part of growing in a career that everybody aspire, that how do we start on our own? You know, how do we go to that entrepreneur level? So I'll tell on my side that for me the journey was actually not started like recently. This was back in my mind from very long time that I wanted to do something on my own. So I went to US to do my higher studies, and then started a job in BIM. I pursued my career in BIM, and the Baker Concrete was the company that I joined. I was lucky to have that company because the company supported me in every which way to grow myself within the department. I was actually the first one to get hired, and then slowly I got promoted, and I've increased the size of that department. So my entrepreneurial journey actually started within the company. Even though I was employed, I was working as an entrepreneur, you can call. Like I was an entrepreneur inside the company itself, and I was managing it in a way that Baker was my own company. You know, so I didn't felt like I was doing a corporate job, but I actually touched based with all the business related stuff within that company. And like I said, I was fortunate enough that Baker provided me with tools and people who showed me the path that how to run a business. You know, the business leader actually helped me to establish myself in that capacity. So I would suggest that whoever's want to start in that journey, you don't have to really switch out of it. Within your own role, you can start living that entrepreneurial, and the company will support it. Trust me, like every company who have gone through a bigger vision and mission, they understand that if you have an entrepreneur mind and you don't want to start outside, you can start within the company. And I think Hamza is like great example of that, because I feel like, Hamza, you have started your own division within Haskell, right? And Disrupt, I think, not pronouncing it correct, but
Yeah,
Hamza, you can correct me.
Disrupt Tech, yeah.
Yeah. So you started your own entrepreneurial journey while still being with a company, right? And that's how it was for me. I was actually growing in that sense. But then there was some family situation that I had to come back to India, and that's where I decided that okay, I want to start on my own and start on this journey of making a company and establishing myself in that way. And again, Baker was great support and help in that as well. You know, they allowed me to go through this side. You know, then they gave me a capacity that okay, you can start doing this work as well and start growing in that sense. So I slowly progressed in that way, and now I've reached to the point where I'm full time with my company, and recently moved back to India and planning to go back and forth, and that's my hope is. So yeah, Swati.
That was amazing. It's such an inspirational story. Thank you so much for sharing. It's because, as you said, most of the times what happens is like, you are the first person in the company who has to, start this whole thing and trying to understand how the market is trending, because though it says United States, every state is very different. Every state works differently. The people are different. The size of the company matters. The kind of projects, what you're doing matters. So everything matters, right?
Yes.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
and
you.
one more question I have
Yes, Swati.
is, how do you? So is it? So when you talk about BIM, so are you talking just about the clash detections, or like just creating models and federating these models, and like is that all you're talking about? Or what do you say about the data in BIM?
Yeah, so I think BIM has grown now to the level where it's not just about coordination only, right? Now BIM has expanded its wing where I think you can even call the whole construction technology suite within it, and BIM becomes just one piece of it. Our goal within BIM and also for supporting any of the client is not just giving them a set of model or for say, but also to provide an overall solution. What other technology that you can link with this model, and how can you maximize the output of this model? That's what I feel like the real BIM and the real power comes out, where you can think about different technologies, connect the dots, and then BIM becomes one of that dot. It doesn't has to be only BIM, but try to convince about like the whole construction technology altogether. So my focus is that way. Like when I say BIM, because but the term BIM has been very popular now. So we have to go with
Exactly.
that building information modeling. But I feel like now it has taken a larger image. And I would request.
I know, but I would call it more as a virtual design in construction.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would love to have Hamza throw some light on it, because he talks a lot about this. That BIM has grown to the wing. So Hamza, if you have a few words.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'm sorry, Hamza, I'm just stopping you, but it was amazing to see that you have been in this career like for a long time, and you are like a director of innovation right now. So I would love to hear more. How the virtual design and construction is considering more data now than just the 3D modeling.
right. Yeah, absolutely. So the BIM is kind of, as I mentioned earlier, is the foundation, right? So this is just the model that includes the information. Remember, Annie was like, I spent a whole hour explaining how the eye is the most important part of BIM, right? It's the information that matters. The geometrical shape, yes, it does matter, but it's not more important than the information itself. But then you take it a step further with VDC, which is Virtual Design and Construction, and this is how you're using the BIM model in order to convey information, in order to do simulation, in order to kind of ensure that all parties on the project are aligned, right? And they're seeing the same information in the same way. Because if you look at a 2D drawing, different people can interpret it differently. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of different technologies that are building on that information, on that data that lives within a BIM model, and kind of takes it to a whole other level. But again, it all goes back to the foundation. If your model is not accurate, if your model does not contain the right information, then it's pretty much useless. And we've seen that over and over again. We've seen a lot of designers.
That was the biggest concern every time when we are sitting in VDC department. So that was always the biggest concern. How do you, QA, QC these models, and how do you understand, which is the right data, which is a good data, which is a bad data? Is it something that we can use it, or is it just a trash,
Exactly.
Yeah. Different designers are going to give you different models and different types of cheating that they do within the model that, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
I
makes the drawing look right.
Especially when you're doing the quantity takeoffs, it just goes crazy. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a great question, Swati. I think that kind of brings that question that we always ask, that now BIM has expanded its limit, and again for the career as well. Like now within BIM, you're not limited to only being a modeler, right? You can start going in different direction as well. Like Hamza is a great example. Now he have chose, I think BIM was the first initial part that he started working, but now he have became a director of innovation. So he's a great inspiration for anybody who is want to climb that ladder within a company. That how tying BIM, how can you climb that up? I think he's a great example for that. So thank you, Swati, for that question. Anybody
Sure.
else? I would love
One
to have
more
other
question
audience.
for
Yes, Swati.
Hamza, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Swati,
Can
go
you
ahead.
just, Hamza, can you just differentiate between the innovation and the VDC? So just for people.
Oh yeah, I get that question a lot, and we try to kind of they try to lump us always in the same slide. So whenever we have a new project, our project developers go out and give a presentation, and whenever it comes to innovation, they always talk about VDC. But I always cringe on that because I believe that VDC is awesome and it increases efficiencies and it is absolutely a must. But it has become a standard right now. This is how we do business. There is tons of innovations on top of that, but it's not. So just saying that we use VDC, that means we're innovative. That was the true 10 years ago. Now it's like, what else are you doing, right? What else are you doing with that information? How are you trickling it down to the field or early on in the design? How are you using generative design or AI algorithms to help you generate better, more efficient, faster models? So that's kind of how I look at it. It's like VDC is a well-established, it's a standard. It's great. I'm not saying it's I hate saying that it's not innovative anymore, but there's more to the story. Is all I'm saying.
And I think VDC is just like a very broad term to define, like when somebody say VDC, like what does it mean, like virtual design construction, it's just a term, but now Hamza, you're right that it's been broadening it up, like people are adding a lot of tools in there, and with the innovation of AI now coming in, I think the VDC terms might just be a term and we might have to come up with something new, so. That's great, Swati. Thank you so much. We have another person who's waiting on the lines. I would request Gitan to unmute yourself and speak. Gitan.
Thank you, guys. Thank
you, Swati.
Hi all.
Hi, Gitan.
So I think nowadays I'm working as a senior modeler with the Jacobs also.
Okay.
I did a lot of BIM level 2 projects and everything. People are telling about the virtual construction and everything, but how they are adopt, I never seen in my career actually. They are just going to talk virtual construction here and there and everything. But nowadays also in India we are little bit behind with the BIM because we are now started with here. But the other countries, if I'm working with the UK client, either the Australian client, either the New Zealand client, they people are just using the BIM level to practice. Example, now previously someone tell regarding the the 3D modeling softwares and everything. So regarding the 3D modeling, how they, because nowadays we are I'm also doing the 3D modeling kind of part and everything. So there have a lot of softwares, not the things like example for the there have the two disciplines. One is the single discipline and another one is the agile discipline, something like the, there have the two models also. So in the federated model, how we can keep the information and everything. Sometimes some people want to do something corrections, but I can't do something like that. Even in other softwares also somehow the restrictions also. So how we can implement the proper BEP with our digital delivery projects? That is my question. Because nowadays a lot of softwares are coming. Like example, if you are going with the BIM collaboration data management softwares like the project wise, BIM 360, other planner, either lot of things are happening. But how but the people, we have the softwares, we have the softwares and everything, but people are not commensally using the softwares and everything. Because still also in India, Indian people also not adopting the BIM methodology in our ongoing projects also. In other countries also, because I'm working with now Australian, New Zealand people.
Got it.
We have the everything, like we are we are doing, the markups and everything with the Blue BIM software. We have everything, but people are still using, the
So
paper,
I think Gitan, I think
paper.
I do get your question that how do we integrate
Yeah.
all this together? We have a lot of different softwares, we have a lot of different things, but how do it all comes together so that we can really call it a seamless process, right?
Yeah,
And
because nowadays people are, telling like we have the CD environment, we have everything. People are just using, the innovation words and everything. But
yeah,
literally, if we are going with the live projects, with the BIM projects, we are not using actually. We are just using 5%. We have the lot of we
sure.
have the lot of data, information, everything we have, but
And
people are not using. So people are just in Jacobs also. Now I am working with the Jacobs. We are in BIM level 2 projects. We are did lot of things,
sure.
but the end of the day, what happens in the virtual construction, how we can manage, because I see a lot of videos like how to see our building, how to
So
see, example, I am
Gitan,
working with the rail sector.
let
So
us
I see,
let us
I
answer.
see the videos and everything,
Sure,
like
sure.
the 3D modeling, what's the there is the track rail going on
I
and everything,
I
but
got
how
your
we can automate this one?
question, Gitan. Let us answer that, right? So I'm going to mute you for a second. I think there's background voice coming in. So I think your question was like, how do we integrate all together? And it's not true that every company is doing that way. I think a lot of company have streamlined their process. And to be honest, like the biggest way to do that is not to take the whole umbrella all together at once, but break it down in different pieces and establish your process right way. You have to have an SOP and standard operating procedure for every process that you do, and then the team has to follow along it. A lot of time, what big companies or even the small companies try to do is they try to get everything together, and they feel like we're innovating because all these tools and technology are out there. They want to use everything. Everything is not a good idea to use because that will create a chaos, right? And there won't be a right process. But if we take a piece of that technology and start integrating from that, then you would have a better seamless integration, and you would be able to manage it properly throughout your team. So I think to answer your question is like, don't try to use everything, but start narrowing it down on specific items that you are using, and are those items are really helpful to the end users, to the guys who would be actually performing the work. Because BIM in totality, it's a support system, right? It's not going to create a building by itself. Why, when you design in virtually, you're just helping the team who's building out in the field. You're helping them to make their life easier by giving them the right data at the right time, right? So the whole idea is to take a piece of it and then integrate small pieces and start building up your whole umbrella together, rather than just looking at all together at once. So I think in short, that would be the answers to your question. I wanted to keep this short and sweet, 30 minutes only. And I do see that there are many people joined in and listening. I want to do this on weekly basis. So for all of you guys here listening, I want to do it every Thursday, 9 p.m. And please send all your questions in advance if you have any questions that need to be answered. I think we have a couple questions that was sent today and we were not able to touch base on it, but I would definitely follow them up for the next week and then we would answer those. But I would love to have you guys joining every week with discussion. I think this was very impromptu today, and thank you, Hamza, for joining and sharing your knowledge in this as well. I kind of love that impromptness of you and then sharing your worth of knowledge. And we would love to have you more often. I go every Thursday live now. So if you're free, Hamza, we would love to have you as well on these calls and share your knowledge. And anybody else within the audience as well, if you feel like you can contribute to the community and you have worth of knowledge, reach out to me. I would love to invite you on weekly basis and we can do a discussion as well as answer some of these questions. So again, thank you. Don't want to take a whole lot of time, and it was great seeing you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was the live event. It was very interesting, as you saw. We have some great insights, and I think there was a a surprise guest that joined, Hamza, and he shared his worth of knowledge. So I would be doing this on weekly basis, that every week Thursday 9 p.m. we'll be going live and we'll be discussing about BIM, innovation and technology in AEC industry. And if you have any questions, please throw them out and we would love to have you on the call. Thank you.